First of all, it's a great day to be a Razorback. Man, what a difference a year makes, and the weather, and guys knowing what we expect on game day. I thought that was good. I want to thank our fans for coming out. I know they had a lot of festivities before. I appreciate everybody putting our administration putting all the events on today at Razorback Fest. That was really unique. I was able to spend a little time over there and speak to the crowd. I thought that was neat, and the fans that showed up. Our former players that have been a part over the last couple of days with us, really want to thank them. That's always special to bring former players back in. Our recruits, we've got a lot of recruits on campus, and to see the environment today, seeing our fans and enjoying just all the activities going on campus. So that's a special day. But again, I thought we've had a really productive spring. It is a much improved football team. We're better in all areas, and that's been good to see. I thought that you saw what we've been saying all spring long. Some of our young guys really stepping up, making plays. I think that you saw Sosa and how active he's been. I think that's been good to see. But overall, I'm very pleased where we're at. We got a long way to go, and I've said that. And it's important to what we do for the summer. The goal of spring was not to be ready for fall. The goal of spring is to get this football team ready to go for summer. And then summer is to get them transitioned into that fourth quarter and into the fall camp. And so we got a long way to go. But again, as I said, what a difference a year makes. I was pleased to see several position groups respond as we opened up the second half. So those were good things to see. We'll get back in there Monday and have our final practice. So with that, I'll open up.
Raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you.
Yes, Chad, what was your formula for the defense scoring as far as the scrimmage was concerned?
3 and out, I believe, was 2 points. TFLs, tackles for lost sacks, I believe was a point. And then pick six was 6 points. So I think that was for the most part what how they would score, whether that be TFLs or 3 and out. I think if it was a fourth down, I'd have to look at the scoring. If it was fourth down and you didn't convert it, it might have been 4 points. So just something we've been using for years when you don't split your team.
What would you take on first O against first D? And then could you talk about the touchdown Trey Knox and Ben Hicks had and how big that was for the offense?
Yeah, I thought as it's been the majority of spring, the depth, in our D-line, the improvement at our defensive back position has really accelerated us defensively. I think that we're much better in all phases. I think definitely you see a remarkable difference defensively. So it did not surprise me to see some of the way that they came out and some 3 and outs to start the scrimmage on 1s and 1s and 2s and 2s. But I love what we're doing defensively. I love the flying around offensively. I thought that it took us a few series to kind of settle in. But it was good to see some guys making plays. I thought the pass, I don't know where it was in the second quarter, when Ben sat in the pocket and delivered to Trey Knox, I thought it was a great catch. It was defended very well. Great catch, and to see him with the ball in his hands is definitely a difference maker. But again, we've seen that's been consistent all spring, and that's what's probably been impressive about Trey. Because a lot of times that freshmen get in there and they hit a wall, and Trey has really worked hard to get through that. And obviously, we saw a good executed play, and it was defended well. We just made a play.
Hey, Chad. How you doing?
Hey.
And I haven't been around much.
Bob. Hadn't seen
other
you.
stuff. Hey,
Missed you, Bob.
With Whaley, I think we thought he might get held out, but you played him quite a bit. What'd you think? Why'd you play him as much as you did, and what kind of day did you think he had, and what'd you think Curtis did? How's he making that transition?
Well, let's start with Devois. I thought he's been limited the majority of spring. Had really kind of came back and do some drill work and worked some 11-on-11 the last couple practices, just a little bit. Felt good, ready to go, and he needed the work. He needed as much as he could get today. I mean, this is this was about having a good workout. I mean, I know it's a spring game, but we had to get good execution, good workout out of this thing. This was a last full padded live practice that we're going to have until the fall. And so he needed everything he could get today. So it was good to see him out there. I thought that he looked as if he hadn't practiced with us all spring or the majority of spring. I thought that he missed a few runs, but yet he made some. As the scrimmage went, I thought he got better. So that was good to see him respond. Jordan Curtis is a guy who obviously moved from corner to running back. Jordan's done some good things. He's provided us some depth in there. So it was good to see him, get to the edge at times. I think he's very slippery. It's kind of hard to tackle when he gets through there. But I thought it goes back to his normal position of what he played in high school. But I thought he's done some good things this spring. He's got a ways to go in pass protection and picking some things up. But been pleased with Jordan.
Hey, Chad. You talked about Trey's play, but Devin Bush had a big play in the second quarter, too. How important has it been to get all those freshmen in, and is that representative of what you think they can do in the fall?
Well, first of all, yes. I believe these young men that have stepped on campus here are depends on what kind of summer they have, but we're anticipating them being ready to go for the fall. You saw Eric Gregory. I mean, I know you talked about Devin Bush, but Eric Gregory made a huge sack right here toward the end against Dalton Wagner, and that was good to see from Eric's standpoint. Devin Bush, responded. Devin's been consistent all spring. Greg Brooks is another one that's been consistent, but I've been very pleased. Mateo Soli is a guy that is much like Trey, has came in and he's gained 22 pounds since he's been here, and has made the best of the amount of reps that he's gotten this spring. So all these guys, bring 12 guys in, and I think if you ask these guys right now, they would definitely say that they are excited that they got here early.
The defense controlled the belt for most of the practices up to this point, and they look like they kind of controlled it in the ones today. What do you see from them?
Yeah, I thought so too. That's kind of been the way that the majority of spring has gone in some controlled settings. I think that just from us up front wise and defensively up front has really been probably the biggest difference that I've seen. And then obviously with Buster at corner and Jaquez, I think those two guys have, from the amount of reps that they got last fall, the experience that they've gotten has really helped them out this spring. So I think they've gotten some really good reps as well. But I've been very pleased. We got, again, a long way to go. We got to have a great summer now. I mean, I'm going to stress that again. This is what this thing is going to turn into now, is how good a summer that this football team's going to have from a player-led standpoint.
Coach, how did you feel Noah Gatlin and Deion Stewart performed the whole course of the spring?
Yeah, I think that both of those guys have improved. I think, again, this is a much improved football team from the time we started spring to where we are right now. And that's what we asked. We're better, and that's what we wanted. We wanted to focus on our fundamentals and limit a lot of the install. We were very simple today, which is by design. But we have to execute the simple. We have to do simple better. And that's been my challenge to our staff. Both of those guys have done a good job. And, I think that Deion has taken on a leadership role in that wide receiver room, and that's good to see as well.
Chad,
Yes, sir.
I was going to ask about the vanilla nature of what y'all did. I mean, just kind of address offensively and defensively compared to what y'all were like for the spring, because we didn't see much, and I was just curious what you would tell fans about where y'all are at.
Well, I think I would tell you that we got we've come a long way, and we got to still get better. I mean, that's the biggest thing. We've got to get better. We got to do simple better. We got to understand. Our focus was fundamentals, and we talked about that all spring long, and get good at what we do and have an identity. And by doing that, you have to operate your base offense, and I think what you saw a lot of that today. Again, we got a long way to go, but there were some really good things to take out of spring. There was a lot of things we did this spring that we didn't show today, and that was by design, both sides of the ball. But that's everybody in the country.
Coach Coylin Jackson had 3 catches for better than 40 yards. Can he use this kind of as a springboard going into the summer, then kind of enter fall camp?
Well, I sure hope so. You know, Coylan's a guy that has had a good spring. You know, consistency has been his struggle, but he's responded as of late. And I think the importance of him as we meet with all our players individually is to be consistent like he finished spring. And it's going to take a lot of work, but I thought he made some really good catches today and kept the chains moving in some key moments. So.
How would you assess the quarterback play? Like maybe say something about each guy.
From an overall today or by the spring? Yeah, I think as a spring, you know, those guys got better. I think Ben's leadership and energy throughout not just the quarterback room, but the entire football team. I think that that has really helped this football team. I know that there's been a lot of competition with offense versus defense and awarding a belt, and to be able to see those guys all compete and be able to interact. I think that if you talk to the defensive players, they probably talk a lot about Ben and the respect that he's gained by coming in here and going to work. I think the next thing that he's really provided was really taking that quarterback room and improving the guys that are in it. I think you saw John Stephen having a really good spring, and you know, he and Ben have really meshed well. And you know, Jack Lindsey's another one that has done some really good things for us, and Dalton as well. So I think just having been here and the knowledge of what we're asking and what we want and what the culture is about has helped our entire football team.
We were talking to Sosa on Thursday and said, hey, what should we expect to see? And he said, I think he said something like, I hope you see me doing a lot of coaching. But he said he was ready to play if you need him. You started and played him, you know, a fair amount. What was the game plan with that, and just what do you think of his spring?
Well, I think he's had a tremendous spring. I think he's had a very consistent spring, and that was one of the things that we talked about. Look, you've been here a good while, and it's time now that you've taken the approach that you chose to come back. And by coming back, he understood that we were going to move him inside, and he was completely 100% bought in on that. And so with that, we challenged him for consistent play, and he showed all spring long. And I think if you asked Ben and those other guys on the offensive side, that his consistent play has been a force defensively. So I do feel like that. I thought our plan coming in was we were going to try to get him the majority of the first half and get him some good reps and good work, and then get him and a few other select guys out.
Hey, Chad, what was Whaley? Was it his ankle? What had him slowed up?
It was his back.
Oh, his back.
Yeah, lower back was tightening up on him, and we just could never get it to he felt comfortable going.
Okay.
That we did.
Two guys, Guidry and Tutt, that missed all of spring. Mm-hmm. Can you count on them to, you know, do you think they can help you next year?
Well, we hope so. Both of them are recovering from surgery that happened in November. I believe it was in early November. So we're anticipating both those guys being back full speed for summer and ready to go for fall camp.
You mentioned last week that you had a little space left in the 2019 class. How many scholarships do you have there? And also, how do you feel the 2020 class is off?
Well, we ain't got enough time to talk about recruiting right now because I could talk about it all day long. But I think that we're definitely on track. I'm excited about where the 2020 class is going. We've got a lot of work to do. Coaches will get on the road here in the next, I think, the 15th of April. Got a lot of work ahead of us. A lot of long hours. A lot of video that needs to be watched, and practices are going to be seen, and coaches need to be talked to. And so that 2020 class is definitely a huge priority. What was your other question? The first question? Our 2019 class. How many scholarships do we have available? I think I have 2 remaining right now. I believe that's right.
A lot of the big names didn't play today. Rakeem, CJ, Colton. What kind of offense can we expect once those guys get back healthy and maybe going into the fall?
Well, I think that when you take Rakeem Boyd out of our offense, I mean he finished in the top 5 in the SEC this year in rushing and total yards. I think when you get him back, it adds a new dimension. It provides depth, and it allows some of the other guys to have a little bit more fresher legs as you're able to have a 3 or 4 back rotation. I think that's a big plus. And so I think CJ, obviously we know know, the impact that C.J. O'Grady has on our football team. I mean, I think he was one of the top guys and led us, or number 2 in receptions and yards for us and touchdowns. And so when you take a guy like that off the field, it just provides opportunities for others to step up. I think Chase Hayden has taken and maximized that opportunity, which is good. We're trying to develop depth, and that's what spring is for. And so I think that we've achieved that, and I'm excited to be very excited to get everybody back, when we start fall camp.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.